Testing, testing. Are we up? We are up. What's the comment? I wonder if Dave remembered. Oh! You didn't have to ask that. No, I didn't. I know where it is. I'll tell you what. When it gets to be time, let me run upstairs and get it. What's my excuse? What's my excuse? Okay, how is the sound this morning? How is the sound? I think it's okay. It's okay. We have a quiet Monday morning in Asakusa. Last night, I probably say this every week or something right now. Last night was the busiest I have seen it ever in Asakusa. And actually, it's not really the busiest I've ever seen it. It's the busiest I can remember it, because we are coming up now out of the pandemic thing, for better or for worse. And we're also coming into celebration season. October, lots of new people start their jobs, companies do things, and then coming from here to the end of the year, it's going to be parties, parties, parties. So the weekends in Asakusa are going to just grow, expand exponentially right now. And last night, my God, it's a good thing I'm a good sleeper, you know, because I go to bed now 10:30, and when I'm down, I go to bed, and outside they are screaming. It's the new type of drinker. It's really completely different. If you just, in 3-4 years, it's completely changed. It's the new type of drinker. I remember reading some story, this is years ago, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 years ago, talking about, they were talking about British tourists going to Mediterranean places and laying waste to the drinking parts of the town, because they're on holiday, they're there to get drunk and stuff like this. And these certain parts of these towns and villages were being destroyed by the repellent behavior of the tourists coming in, you know. And we're seeing actually the beginning of the same thing. If you go back to the Asakusa 5 years ago or something, it was salarymen. They came here after work, their boss brought them, or they came on their own, and they came in groups of 2, 3, 4, 5. They went up Hoppidori, they had their drinks. By 10:30 it was all over. There was no yelling or screaming, there was no barfing all over the floor, there was nothing. It was drinking, and a couple of them would weave down the street, and JR has to deal with mess on the train quite a lot. But it was what it was, and now it's different. It's different. There are some salarymen still here, not the weekends. It's kids. It's college age, 20s into their 30s, and they're here to get drunk. They're here to get drunk as fast as possible, and they're here to make as much noise as they can while doing it. And the girls shriek, and the guy just, get off my lawn. Whatever. It's my choice. I live in the middle of this bar district, so whatever, but it wasn't bad before, you know. And now it's, you know, like I said, it's a good thing I'm a good sleeper. I lie down and 10 seconds later I'm gone anyway, so it doesn't matter to me. But it's really changed. It's a different world. Even in Kentucky, it's crazy. It's just changing everywhere. Is it the thing I'm talking about? I don't know. Damn kids, yeah. Bucket of cold water by the window, and that's not the way to do this. So, no, what we're seeing here, there's a district change. This is really perhaps not even pandemic related. Different kinds of people go to different places in town, and this used to be the place for the old guys and for salarymen. And somehow there's been an evolution. Maybe it was even happening before the pandemic. There's been an evolution in who's attracted to this district and what kind of shops in this district are trying to attract different people. So it's probably something that's been going on for a long time that I really didn't specifically notice, that's all. So maybe a bunch of different things are happening here. You know. I guess so. And I'm getting older and whatever. You know, so. Okay, what are we doing today? Paper is out, 2 packs of paper. Ishikawa-san is printing the something, I forget. I took her paper out. I can't remember. It's something, she's printing something. I didn't look at it carefully. And Ayumi-san is printing the Bonodori print, still rolling along steadily. Today's work now. We may finish this block today. I am ready to move on. I have prepared here. I've got a new blank block, and I have the tracing ready to paste down for the next step for the colors. I'm not quite sure if we'll be able to get through it all, because what I've got to do is I've got to finish clearing the outside of this one here. This is persuading and clearing. Then I have to take a proof of this and then fix up whatever I think might need fixing up. And then I've got to test the registration, because this registration has been moved since I put the paper down. You saw that happen some months ago. So we'll see how it goes. I'm going to start with this, and we may get as far as putting the color. Then I have to ask, how is the sound? How is the sound? We tried this the other day. I bought a much more expensive mic. This is like 3-4 times the cost of the little cheap Sony I was using. We plugged it in, and I got reports it was buzzing feedback, something was going on right away. And there's a capsule on the cord here, and I didn't know what it was, and nobody said anything, and whatever. And of course, I should have simply read the instructions, because what happens is this little capsule here, it opens up, and there's a battery compartment inside. This mic needs its own power source. There's mics that don't, there's plug-in power, there's all kinds of mics. This mic needs its own power source. So when I realized that after the stream the other day, before I sort of threw this thing away, and then it needs a certain battery of a certain size. So here we go, hunting down to Akihabara to try and find this battery. It's a neat little deal, you know. It's got its own gear. It looked like quite a professional thing. I was quite disappointed when it didn't work the other day. So I go down to Akihabara, get this battery, come back, put it in, and then as I'm cleaning up, I see what happens here. These guys have actually included the required battery, but Dave not only didn't read the manual, he didn't even open the package carefully enough to look at what was inside. Batteries were included. And it's got a 3-meter long cable. It seems to be a really high quality little thing. And what I don't know is how it's going to work with the volumes. So I've put it right now at the same place it was on the last time. The outside audio is a little lower than normal, so you give me a little bit of a hint here. Mic sounds fine, volume a bit low. Whatever, I can boost it a bit. What I've also done, which I didn't do for the last little lavalier mic that I had, I put the same clipping controls. I've put a noise gate and a compressor and a limiter on this mic now. So when I do the persuading in a few minutes, hopefully we should be okay. We'll find out. So whatever, somebody says low, someone says okay, so what can I do? I don't know. So I'm going to leave it as it is for now, because I'm going to make some noise. So even if it is a bit low, and in fact it might need to be turned down once I start this. There is an outside mic separately. The door is also open, so you're hearing outside sound through this mic as well. And there is also, it's not a tease, it's instruction, there is also more gear coming. I don't know, I made some investments. I bought some different gear for this because we have a new camera. Actually, so you can see it here. We have a new camera that at the moment is not turned on because we have no way to plug in 3 cameras to the laptop. Do we know if the shop will be open by mid-November? If it will still be open by mid-November, we are open. We opened October 1st. I haven't really mentioned that to all of our fans yet. We'll be sending out a newsletter pretty soon. We are open. 10 o'clock, I will be putting the flag outside and opening up. And we had a nice busy weekend. I don't know where they came from. Fans came from. Can we take pictures? Talk about the YouTube channel. Look at this. Some of them even picked up a couple of prints. We're up and running. It's awesome news. What's not awesome news is I don't have any staff to do this. I was here myself Saturday, Sunday, and I'll be here myself today. We don't have enough people to do this. Okay, let me make some noise. I got to clear some of this thing. I'm talking too much. Let me do some work. Let me know about the noise here. Here we go. It's showing yellow, not red, so maybe we're okay. Sound is good, sound is good. Okay, thank you very much. There's a knot here. The grain could go any which way. No idea which way. Okay, this is the worst part. Pull out this big wood. Hang on a sec here. Hey. For those of you who are new here, the noisy stuff, this is going to happen for about 4 or 5 more minutes, 6 more minutes, and then we'll switch to a quieter work. So if you are new here, just hang on for a while. It will be a bit more watchable in a few minutes. Well, I think that will do us for this for now, I know. I think that's enough banging for now. I will have to bring a bit more off to make it safer for the people once they're printing, but this will be enough now. I got to clear this away. We'll do a test proof. I'll come back and do the last wider banging later when we're offline. Okay, thanks for your patience with all that. Let's get some smaller scale work done here. You're on a different conversation. Good. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Getting a bit of breakup around the loudest impacts. Well, whatever. I know. If we were doing this all the time, all day, we'd have to work something out for it. But I think we're not doing very much persuading here. So. Someone's asking, is the wood level where the persuader was used? I don't know. I tried. You can see I tried to keep it sort of flat. The chisel has a beveled surface, and there are lines where one pass met the next pass. What we've got here, more roughness where it went against the grain, but it doesn't matter because whatever is left over, that's my next step. Those of you who have seen this before, you know what's happening now is that after the persuader, we then come in with a nice smaller chisel and take away any aggressive, any aggressive roughness. Is that the word? I don't know. The idea is not to leave it glass smooth. We just don't want any peaks sticking up from the ocean floor, and to avoid having places where pigment will catch and build up. No, we're going to have to. How'd opening the store go? It made very quiet, and we didn't do balloons, dancing girls, and fireworks. We just simply put the sign out and opened the door. For us, really, it's just basically practice and training before the real crowd hits later in the autumn. So it was kind of what do you call it, a guerrilla opening. Online here. No little trio with the clarinet. John, you go back too far, my God. Well, no. No. One of the members is passed away, and the other one is in Vancouver, so no. Those were the days. Those were the days. Oh, I see. Those. I get you. I thought you meant my dad and my brother. They played clarinet trios at one of the exhibitions 20 years ago. I guess you don't go that far back. Okay, yeah, what John's referring to is the chindonya. Chindonya, drummer, clarinet or soprano sax, clown suits, old samurai outfits. They parade around Asakusa for pachinko shop openings. They're usually here. So, yeah. If you search for Chindonya, 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 you'll get some photographs somewhere. If you just searched for, I guess that's how it would be spelled, Chindonya, maybe a hyphen before the YA. Find a video with sound, because they're awful. They're absolutely awful. The idea is to make noise and have people turn around and say, "What is that?" And then they see the signs announcing the new pachinko parlor or whatever. I didn't realize that's what John was referring to. Okay. Okay. You got me there. You said clarinet trio, and at the big exhibition for the ending of the Poet series, my father and my brother and my brother's girlfriend played clarinet trios in one corner of the exhibition room on the opening day. So that's what I thought John was referring to. All right, what we're doing here, it's freestyle. There's no jig to help you with this sort of thing. I should have showed you before we started. There's a bevel, of course, on the chisel. I don't even know what angle it is, but there's a bevel, but it's not flat because the chisel has a curved, because the surface of the chisel, I mean the end of the chisel is cut that way. The bevel also is a curved three-dimensional bevel. It's not a single bevel. So what we're doing, I'll try and do it in slow motion. I'm putting it exactly in the middle here at the right angle, at what I think is the right angle. And then as I move right and left, I'm doing two things. One is I'm rocking the chisel this way and that way. So as I move left, I'm rocking towards the left. Move right, I'm rocking towards the right. And I'm trying to keep it in a curve this way rather than move straight across the stone. Is this the official wonderful way to do this? I don't know, but it works for me. As long as I do it for a minute, check and see how I'm doing, do it some more, check and see how I'm doing. Because I never, and I mean never, get it right the first time. The geometry of the desk angle, my elbow, whatever, and usually I'm weak on this side. So I can see it here. I need to cut more on that side, so I will just remember to lean into that corner a little bit more. It's not scientific, I'm sorry. And the first few times I did it, the first bunch of times I did it, it was a disaster. But it works. And then what you've got to check for, you can see your scratches and scraping should be relatively even. And then also the burr on the back, I can now feel it. There's a burr in the middle, a burr on that side, and a burr on that side. So the burr feels even. And that's also telling me, I think, I'm basically doing the right thing in the right place. I don't know how real people do this. I mean, what? I don't know, if you're looking for a system with a jig and stuff, what would they do? I really don't know. All I know is that this is... It will be interesting to have Taran-san here one day and ask him to show us how he is trained by Asuka Sensei to sharpen his chisels this way. Although having said that, it could be that Taran-san doesn't have one of these chisels, because this particular chisel, a bull nose in, what's the width? This is a 12 millimeter bull nose. This is not in the traditional toolbox. Backside flat, that's easy on a chisel this wide. And you can see, look at this, we've got our wonderful, look at that. We've got our wonderful hollow ground, but also I'm missing a bit of the tip. Ha ha ha. Let's give it a go. we go. This is actually, that's actually now sharp enough to use, but we're going to take it and dress it on the finer stone. It's sharp enough from human standards, but the grit from the stone, it must be quite gouged if we looked at this microscopically. Someone's asking about those diamond stones, how long do they last? I don't know. That's the first one I've ever had, and I don't know. It seems to be going really, really, really well. I don't know how long it's going to last. Probably it's going to last longer than me. I don't really know. We are good to go. I think what's the thing that people doing sharpening videos usually do? They sort of shave some of their hair. Here, watch Dave cut himself. Hey, a bald patch. Isn't that the required ending for all YouTube sharpening videos, I think? I don't know. Maybe I should try it up here somewhere. Yeah, they take a sheet of paper and slice, I think. Is that the other way to do it? So. Let's see you slice a tomato. Don't happen to have one here with me. So it's okay. And I won't reuse the paper, Dave. Reuse the tape. Actually, there's a story about this morning. My God, Dave's going to put the same piece of tape back on instead of throwing it away and getting in a new piece of tape, you know, because that's how my DNA works. And this morning, again, I got a lesson that I have learned many times in my life, but it was drummed into me again this morning. I'm hopeless, actually, I'm hopeless. Swimming goggles. Swimming goggles. I've been swimming every morning, or not every morning, you know, every weekday morning. I've been swimming here at the local fitness center, fitness club. I signed up a year ago or so. It was in November. And when I signed up for the fitness center, goggles. I've got some goggles in a drawer somewhere. I went to Ome, looked through drawers and drawers and drawers, and I found the swimming goggles that I used to use when I lived back in West Tokyo, and I went to the swimming center every morning. This is back when I was making the Poet series. This would have been in like 1995 or something like this. So I found those goggles, brought them here to Asakusa, and I've been using those goggles for the past year. They leak. They're cracked. The rubber is gone. Rubber doesn't last all that long, but I've been using them now since last November. Just fighting. Do 4 lengths, it leaks, take them off, shake them up, put them back on, do another few lengths. Idiot guy trying to use goggles that are 25 years old or something, made of rubber. There is a reason, though, why I did this, because they are goggles I picked up originally in Canada. They were Speedo or something, a Canadian or whatever brand name. And I had tried and failed when I lived in West Tokyo. I had tried and failed to get goggles. I went down to get to the Japanese sports store, got them, and Japanese faces and my face are actually constructed quite a different way. I don't usually go along with this, in Japan we do things differently, it's different for everybody else. But actually Japanese faces are different. And I have a nose that you have never seen in Japan before. I have a sort of a hole here. It goes right back, and you don't see that in Japan. And I think somebody explained to me once about boxers. They said there's a reason why there's no superstar heavyweight Japanese boxers or whatever, because the eyebrow thing, for a Westerner, the eyebrow is here and the eye goes back. I don't know if this is true or not. And they said for a Japanese, the eyeball is farther forward. So when a boxer gets a hit on his eyebrow or whatever, it actually hits the eyeball too. And you could hit my eyebrow all day long, and my eye is well safe inside. Anyway, the point being, I've tried to buy Japanese goggles, and they do not work. They do not work. But, you know, these days we have other options for importing. So I go down to the sports store, and there it is. There's a row of Speedo goggles. And I asked the guy, you know, my goggles, I'm trying to get goggles that don't leak. And he said, well, yeah, get the Western ones, you know. So I buy one of these. This is a few days ago. And I put them on this morning, and oh my God, I can see all the people. The water is there. The swimming is so much nicer. There are Japanese boxers. I guess, like I said, don't quote me on any of this. I don't really know this. There are obviously some, but the point, whatever, somebody was explaining this to me, because the eyes are closer at the top and maybe they get more eye damage. I don't know, something like this. Anyway, I got new goggles this morning, and it just reiterated for me again this lesson. Dave, don't hang on to your old stuff too long. Don't get in this sentimental mood about your objects, your goggles, or your piece of tape on your tool. Don't be sentimental about this stuff. When it's done, throw it away. I haven't learned the lesson. I've had it reiterated a million times in my life, and I still have not learned my lesson. Shirts. This is my son-in-law's shirt. This is one that I scooped, that my son-in-law gave me. My son-in-law gave me. My daughter said, Craig, it's okay if he takes it, right? And my son-in-law says, oh, yeah, sure. So new goggles, new tape. Like somebody says there, what's next for me? I don't know. Oh my God, I don't know. Is there no end to this newfangled stuff? Whatever, you know, you can, whatever, the old dog, whatever, you know, the DNA is what it is, you know. The older I get, the more I'm convinced with the thing that we're born with is so strong and so powerful. You just can't train these things away. Maybe it's, what is it? There's these two words. Personality might be one of the words, and character might be another word. I don't know. Your character, like who you are, this habit that I've got of doing this, I kind of think that's probably built in its DNA, and I really can't change it. Because as smart as I am, and as many times as I learn the lesson the other way around, I still don't change my behavior. So I'm thinking that's kind of really rock solid DNA. But your personality, maybe? Is that something that you can edit and change as it goes along? The things that we change as we learn lessons? I don't know. There's obviously two groups of things here. Stuff that is never going to change, and stuff that we can adapt as we move forward. It would be interesting to try and look at these things and figure out which is in which group. habit too, that's a thing too, of course. Things that we have built the grooves here, and we just stay in the groove and stay in the groove. And that's, you can have your thought, okay, I'm going to get out of that groove, and you can lift yourself out and go somewhere else. But it slides back, of course. You know, getting out of a groove, doing something else is a constant. You can't just do it once and move to a different groove. It slides right back, you know. Don't get into a rut. But that's how our brain works. That's exactly how brains work, is the repetitive pattern. The neurons know what to do, you know. Actually, the swimming today, because I got new goggles, the pool was clean and clear, and the swimming itself actually was easier. It seemed to be going more smoothly and less frustrating because I could see more clearly what was going on. Interesting. So I'm swimming along this morning, and I remembered something I was supposed to tell you about today. I got a pair of emails over the weekend. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful story. I got a pair of emails. I know I get this junk robot email all the time about YouTube. Because I have a good YouTube channel with lots of subscribers, the robots send this, will you please join our advertising channel and stuff like this. I get those robot emails about this all the time. But the email I got over the weekend seems to be, somebody took the time to look at the YouTube channel, look back at the background, see who I was, and they wrote an email, a person-to-person email. Well, it's half copy-pasted text. Dave, we've been looking at your channel, and we think it's really suitable for the kind of thing we'd like to do, and we'd like to open up some conversation with you to see if we can move forward with this. It wasn't just, dear Japanese printmaking, blah, 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 blah. It was actually like it seemed to be human-to-human conversation. Anyway, point is, he, it's a name I don't know which gender it is. They would like me to become an influencer for them. They said, we really would like to see you in our influencer, as a part of our influencer team. And it could benefit both of us quite substantially, was the context of this thing here. So I read through this thing. I mean, I'm not actually, please don't panic, I am not in any way interested in becoming anybody's influencer, but here I am. I'm getting emails saying, let's do the influencing. Okay, what was the product? I guess you're already guessing. Hair loss products. No, sorry. Speedo. The good idea. No, it wasn't Speedo. That would be too much to expect. That might be coming tomorrow. Someone says razors. You're getting closer. Someone says razors. You're getting closer. Think cutting. And these people, they were absolutely serious about this, because I didn't reply to it. And then it would have been a couple of days later, this same person said, you know, maybe you missed our previous email or whatever, but we're really serious about this. We really think this would be a perfect fit between your channel and us, and I'd like to explore this further. Please, let's do a Zoom call about this, you know. So, manicure service. No, it's going all day, I got to tell you. It was for a machine that does laser wood engraving. So I can see sort of why their robot gave them a hint about what to do. But I sat there and looked at this. These people want me to promote a product that is going to put me out of work. So, like, dear influencer, we'd like you to promote our product. We can't offer a long-term contract. So, we'd like to sell guns. Here, demonstrate our guns, please. Whatever. So, I laughed and laughed and laughed. And they didn't. They showed me a couple of videos. I mean, they linked to a couple of videos on their channel. And it didn't show the thing making woodblock prints, but it could do the laser cutting for woodblock prints just fine. You know. Dear Dave, please promote our product that will put you out of work. I guess whatever, they're just sending emails to 1 million people a day. They're not thinking quite too carefully about it, but whatever. And no, I'm not going to tell you their name. Yeah, people are using lasers. I mean, this is happening, of course. People are using CNC. We have prints for sale in our shop done by CNC and done by lasers. Not by us here at Mokuhankan in our guest corner. We're not Luddites, and we're not trying to fight this, and we recognize that many aspects of this work could and will be mechanized as time goes by. Dave here doesn't really want to do that himself because it's so much fun doing this, it's pleasure. And as you're going to see over the next year, and this is one reason why we have chosen the project for next year that I have, over the next year, during the course of 2023, the project we are doing is an exact, what can I say? It's not a rebuttal of the idea that our job can be mechanized. It's going to show that although some of our job can indeed be mechanized, there are many aspects of our job that are still in no way amenable to being mechanized. And that's what you're going to see over the course of the 12 months of 2023. Yeah, miyakudori, the blocks, for the most part, are cut with lasers, yes. Sushi cats, ramen cats, laser cats. So. So am I against the idea of using technology for woodblock printmaking? Of course not. We're making our own choice on how much of it to incorporate. My God, the Yoshida prints in our shop, most of the Yoshida prints, they're made on metal blocks, of course. You know. No cherry wood was harmed in the production of making the Yoshida prints, not the key blocks. Are we going to see it on the bench, or is there a subscriber thing? I will be carving 4 of the prints from next year's series. There's going to be 3 carvers involved. We've got 12 prints coming up. 3 of us are going to carve them. So I will be carving 4 of them. And the first one starts probably next week. Our carver meeting is tomorrow morning. Tuesday morning, we have the grand meeting of next year's subscription series. And we're going to look at the pictures. Me and the other 2 carvers are going to divvy them up. So my work for the year will be decided tomorrow morning. And then I've got to split my time. I've got to do some work on the surfer, and I also have to do some work starting next year's series. And you're going to see it here. You'll see it. Well, some of them are saying, why would I buy a laser-carved woodblock print? Well, the argument could be made that Dave would perhaps also make the argument that with much modern work, what they want is they don't want the carver to be interfering. When the carver carves the lines in a classical ukiyo-e print, the carver is very much adding taste to what was there in the classical Japanese tradition. Remind me at show and tell time, we can talk about this, whatever. The carver adds taste. In the modern era, the artists don't want the carver adding taste. They want to produce the taste they want in their pen drawing or brush drawing or whatever they want. And the artists don't want the carver changing that. So this is why the Yoshidas used metal plates. Miyakudori is using lasers because the artist, the designer, says, I just want what I drew. So in that sense, a mechanical robotic method is just fine. But then both of these groups of people, the Yoshidas and the Miyakudori people and us, we then, with the blocks made, moving forward to printing, we now want this human, rich touch of applying pigment to the blocks and to rubbing it with the paper. And this is totally different from any mechanical process that has yet been invented and that I could yet foresee. So if you want the old style where the artist puts a sketch out and the carver then turns it into lines, the printers then turn it into a print, then you're looking at human beings. If you want the 20th century, just the modern approach, where the artist wants his lines on the block, then a mechanical, a photomechanical, electromechanical, mechanical device is the best for it. And then over to the printers. So the comment somebody a minute ago, why would I buy a laser carved print? There is a real meaning and thought behind this. This is not just some random, let's save some money, push a button thing. We will be talking about this all through next year because we are going to demonstrate it live over the course of the next 12 months. What's the meaning of a human being in this field now that the machines can carve finer detail than we can? We are going to talk about that over and over and over again. You're talking about Jed. Jed does both ways. For Jed's larger important work, the ukiyo-e heroes that we do with him, he composes in Photoshop. Sketch, sketch, puts the arm here, moves it down, zooms in, zooms out. He composes in Photoshop. He might even use Photoshop brushstrokes for giving a blank, blank, blank. He then prints that out onto larger size paper, maybe 8 pieces, tapes them all together, takes it to a light table, puts thin paper on, and then gets his brush, and he now inks. He's not composing the picture at the same time because it's done, but he is now inking each line with the taste that he wants. That's for Jed's major work. It's not for all the Jikle prints on his website, and he doesn't do that for the smaller work. But Jed is completely capable of actually brushing. He doesn't do it for every single design he produces. So when we carve the blocks for an ukiyo-e heroes print, we are taking a human being's brush strokes and we are translating them into a physical form on the surface of the wood. It's a hugely interesting discussion, and this next year is Mokuhankan's chance to try and explain how we feel that this really works. Someone says, why use a woodblock at all instead of printing it digitally? Well, you're speaking a little bit then from ignorance. And maybe at the end of the stream here, the show and tell type, remind me again this, and I will try and show what is the difference. Why do we do this actually printing from woodblocks instead of printing digitally? The quick, easy, sharp answer is that they are three-dimensional objects, the things we make. There's a very big difference between the woodblock print and the digital reproduction. And if all you want is the picture itself, if you want that little poster of Mario on your wall to look at now and then that's fine. The digital reproduction will do the job and everybody will be happy and you will have got a nice object for a reasonably low price. But there is a layer of beauty and interest in the woodblocks themselves. And if you haven't seen them close up, then you don't know about that. That's okay. It's my job through this work and our YouTube channel to introduce people to that beauty. I'm trying to keep up with the conversation here. I can't. I'm sorry. So, will there be 4 prints, 3 styles, or 12 different prints? It's a series of 12 prints. There will be 12 images, all by the same designer, taken from the same general source. So they are a set of 12. Grouped into 4 categories, because the source that we're taking them from has designs from many different areas. And then each of the 3 carvers is going to get 1 print from each of the 4 genres. So I'm going to get 1 from group A, B, C, and D. どうもありがとう。Amazon ですね。はい、どうも。いいどこでもいいよ。ありがとうございます。サイン必要ないでしょ？はい。はい、どうも。 So printing from a woodblock, even if it was carved by laser, adds character to the final print. Well, yes, adds character, but it's a completely different object, actually. Adds character is an easy way to say it, but it's creating a completely different object. Somebody else had another point. So it's not just for the difference of the three-dimensional thing, it's the knowledge that each step was done by a person. I understand that's there, and of course I understand that a great many people who support our work are doing so because of the human touch. They like what I'm doing and they want to see it continue. So of course I get that part of it as well. The good part about that is that it exists and it's a warm thing and it's about human relations. The other part that has to be addressed, though, is what happens to the print after you're dead and I'm dead. When that story is no longer there, the woodblock print is only left as an object without the backstory about I wanted to support that guy doing that project. And my point is that that also is still there. This object, even with the backstory removed, the human contact and the exchange of emotion, even with that removed, the leftover human object is also still there. There's lots of, it's going to be a full year to talk about this and make a bunch of videos. It's going to be a full year. Oh! I've been surprised. Hi, we're live. いいよ。Live ですね。僕 OK?
あ、大丈夫です。
市川さん from upstairs. Talk.
よく喋るね。
そう、まあ質問がよく来る。今日のテーマと言えないんですが、さっきのレーザー、僕のメールの中に、レーザーができるような機械、買ってください。インフルエンサーになってください。で、自分の YouTube にこのものを宣伝してください。で、僕にで自分の仕事がなくなるような機械のそう
だよね。
そう。It's like they're selling me a gun. Here, buy this gun. Show how it works. Bing.
そうか。あら、やってんの。
Okay, what do we do? 掘り直し？
ごめん違う。ごめんね。
Excuse me a sec. She's working on the October prints. Okay, they were watching. So good. Hey. Okay, what are we doing here?
サンマのここ前もあれなんだけど、ここ影つけるとサンマが黒くなると。どうしよ
う。今のレベル。
これでいい。書きちょっと。
今でもいいし、今でもちょっとだけ上がっても OK よ。
でサンマそうすると黒くなるね。
だから3箇所心配ありますよ。
心配です。お味噌汁は OK。
僕の心配してるところがサンマ。とこの影、そうこの銀これ薄すぎとグリーンが濃すぎとそれはバランスにならないですね。これもちょっとI think you're close でしょ？I think you're close. Just もうそう。でも心配はだんだんやってるとどんどん上がりますから。
分かった。でじゃあ3つだけね。
I think so.
はい。
Do you see the kind of conversation? Ishikawa-san is running her batch of the October prints. She's totally capable of doing this without any interference. But what she's worried is that if she gets to the end, I will say, no, that gray, it should have been a bit darker, you know. So she's checking with me right now to make sure it's okay. I think it's looking fine. Were we speaking English? Could they understand?
いやだよ。
No. だからさっき日本語で説明した。じゃあみんながわからない。I was just sort of talking about the balance, and we've talked about this many times. One block is doing the color for this fish. It's sort of a dirty gray. That same block provides the shadow on the persimmons, and that same block provides the crisscross color on this pattern. And her challenge is to make all three look good. And it turns out that maybe if you make the shadow nice and deep, then the fish looks too dark. You dial it back a bit, then the gingham pattern doesn't match. So because we're trying to, what's the word? I don't know. Compromise. Because we're trying to compromise on this, it's really difficult to hit exactly where it goes. I think we're okay. So far, so good. So far, so good. ごめんね、ジャンク多いんですが、はい。For those who didn't know, this is Ishikawa-san, Ishikawa Yoko. She's been working for us now 10 years, I guess. She came just before we started the Ukiyo-e Heroes project. And she was quote unquote, she came to us as just a housewife. No career, no professional, nothing about this. She was making prints as a hobby for herself, had gone to Asakusa-san's place to learn a bit more about carving. He calls me up one day and says, I got a lady here, she's kind of really interested in this, and she's kind of actually capable of this. I'm like, whatever, send her over. So she came over on the same day actually as Ayumi-san did. This would have been 12, 13 years ago. And she wasn't like looking for a work as a career, she just wanted a place to sort of, can I do this? And let's see how good I get at it, and stuff like that. And she's now, whatever, she's probably earning more here than her husband earns. I don't know, none of my business, I don't know. And she's enjoying it, and her stuff is going all around the world. And you know, I said at the beginning, just a housewife. Of course, my point about saying that was that even a normal person with a little bit of training, someone with some good skill at this, can dig in and be productive and learn, you know. She is really, really, really good at this. There's a buzz every 3 seconds from the mic. Well, is it warning me something? I can hear nothing. The buzz is every 6 seconds. Any ideas? What would that be? What am I doing? Is it because I'm moving? Somebody else says they hear nothing. I really don't know. I really don't know. There's a wind chime outside. Good morning, Irene. We saw you walking all the way down.
How was the weekend?
How was the weekend? You're asking me, how was my weekend? I worked all weekend. What do you mean? So,
How busy were you? I was a little worried.
it was up and on. There were maybe like an hour would go by with nobody in, and then bang, 2 people, 4 people, 6 people, and then another hour with nobody in. So it came in waves and waves and waves. Lots of fun. Fans. A few people wandered in randomly, but most of the people who came were fans. They had seen Insta or somewhere, they knew we were open, they came in, they want to get a couple of prints, they want to chat, take some pictures. No, they were foreigners who were here already on some business or student deal, and they hadn't come here because they didn't think we were open. But now they know we're open, over they came.
Yeah, I saw what they bought. So
Yeah, there's been a bunch of stuff. Yes. So. Okay, what I will do about the sound is we are also, of course, we have a VOD, so I will pull down the VOD after the stream's over, and I will see if I can identify the sound that you're talking about. Maybe you've got to be young to hear it, I don't know. Anyway, whatever. Oh, time. We were going to paste, there's no way now we're going to paste that thing down now. No way. In fact, that's good news, bad news. There's no way I can get this tested and trialed and pasted down now, but I can't wait till Thursday before doing it. So whatever, I'll take some video and we'll play video. If it's high pitched, I wouldn't be able to hear it. But what I will do, I understand. Please remind me. They're talking about a specific sound, a beep or a buzz or a whine or something.
Okay.
So after the stream's over later today, let's download it. And they're suggesting Dave can't hear it because he's too old. But if you, this is true. It's true. So if you can hear, help me listen for this sound, stuff like that.
What's the sound for?
Pardon me?
What's the sound for?
No, they're saying, like, I got a new mic, and they're saying it's making noise and stuff like this. So we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it later. No problem. High-pitched computer beeps and boops. I did the job. I did it. I understand.
Hey.
It's box. I did.
Thank you. I was checking the message you sent us about the shipping date.
Yeah, I'll prepare that, but the text needs to be changed.
Okay.
Because that's the first thing somebody asked. He said, but I want 2 prints. Will it be double that cost? And it doesn't say.
Oh, it doesn't say anything.
So he assumed that was for 1 print, and that when you buy 2, it's going to be double. So we have got to put that in. I'm sorry. I think we actually talked about that, but we decided, yeah. Yeah. That was the very first person, the very first question.
Oh.
So.
I thought we prepared well.
Yeah, well, we did, but you can't foresee everything, so. How was your weekend?
I went to a hotel near my house after I finished work last Friday. Just fun. And that's it. We just
You went to
a hotel.
a hotel.
Yeah. Like hotel mixed with ryokan, like a modern ryokan style. It's like 10 minutes away, and then I used like this coupon that is available only for people living in Tokyo.
So you had a, what's it called, a staycation. You had a vacation in Tokyo.
Just 10 minutes walk from my house. It was nice, you know. Onsen is on is located on the top floor of the hotel. The hotel is not tall, like 18 floors is the highest, but you know, I can enjoy the Shinjuku night view from you know, onsen outside. It's really
Oh, like Keio Plaza or something like this, or
何ですか?
Keio Plaza とか、
ユエンっていう旅館です。
Okay. All right, I think we have actually now cut all the lines. I think we're around the lines. It'll need a bit more wide clearing later, but as I said, there's no point in banging with the chisels here. I think we have cut all the lines. Oh, no. The nostril. I didn't cut her nostril. I didn't cut her nostril. Oh, and I'm going to have to sharpen. The blade popped off the other day. Nanda. Hi, okay. One sharpen and one nostril. I should have known we'd never get there today on this one. Hi. Whatever, one more sharpening. People complain I don't show sharpening enough on this stream, so we're going to get some today. Nanda, I'm happy. It's going to be a good day. We had a good fun weekend and it was the weekend for me. It was like going back in time 3 years. You know, as I told Ayano-san, there was quiet times. Nobody was in here. Then a couple came in. If 3 people came in, 4 people came in. Bang, bang. And who came in were the kind of people who knew us. They've been watching YouTube. They know what's going on. They knew who I am. In one case, it was a gentleman who had been here before. I said something like, "I think I'm supposed to know you, right? You've been here before." And he said, "Yep." And I was like worried it was last week. No, it wasn't last week. It was before the pandemic. And nobody's upset really that I can't remember them. Well, I can't say nobody. If somebody had been here year after year after year and I didn't remember them, I think they would be kind of, you know, not so happy about that. But it was good. We took a bunch of pictures, took a bunch of selfies, chatting with people. And the YouTube channel, my God, it has such an effect on people. I can never get that. Anyway, let me do this. Come on, Dave, settle down. Quietly, get your angle, sit there and sharpen carefully. No, the reason I mention that is because yesterday, or over the weekend, more than one person, in fact, more than two people made the same comment, and about starstruck. They come in and everybody's friendly and they're happy and they're okay and they're behaving normally, but in the middle of having a conversation about this, someone would say, just, oh my God, just sorry, David, I'm just like, I'm so starstruck, And this is the part that I don't get, because things like YouTube, that's now open to all of us. Anybody and everybody sits down, turns their camera on, and can do this. In the old days, when we saw people on like the silver screen, or later, or like on TV, these were not normal people that we would ever meet. They were stars, and I get it. In that era, to be the person on the screen communicating to the viewer, I get that. But that's now far, 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 far behind us. I'm not rejecting anything. That the enthusiasm, I really appreciate the enthusiasm. Enthusiasm, and it's really happy. But I still really don't. I don't know. Anyway, things are what they are. Lots of good fun. And of course, it's nothing but a positive to know that people are enjoying the work, So whatever, I should just keep quiet. Oops. The construction noises outside, the bar on the corner, right bang in the middle of our camera there, they're doing a little bit of interior work right now, but nothing really, really noisy. And most of the construction noise that you hear, comes from just off the view, out to the right-hand side here, where that lady is just walking from. That corner, there's a 4-story building that is being torn down. They've scaffolded it, sheathed it, and that's going to be plenty noisy over the next few months. And then over the next year or 2 years, they're going to build a new building. So it never ends, né? One construction finishes, another one starts. The building that was torn down, kitty corner on the back to us, it's still an excavation. We've got the letter from them saying we're going to be starting real soon now. And they're going to start with pile driving to put a foundation in. So there's going to be constant noise on these streams. Okay, let's find a nostril. Where's the last time you went to a stream and watched somebody's nostril? I shouldn't ask that question, I guess. I might get an answer that I don't want to hear. Okay, just a minute. Don't panic. Don't panic. We'll try and get this here. Camera, sit still, please. Have we got it? Good to go. printers are going to love me for this. Not. One of the things that's always difficult for the printers is when there are small holes, you know, like the snow holes and stuff like this, because they really tend to get clogged or filled with paste and or water. And this will be doable. It's just one isolated one, so they will have to remember it. And as they're rubbing pigment over this block, they will rub all over the block first, and then they will finish off with a little gesture. They will finish off with a chup, just over her face here, to pull out any little bit of glue or moisture that might be in this little hole. There we are, we're popped out. After test printing, in fact I can see that side is a little bit too fat. We can shave this off. After printing, lots and lots of these lines will need adjustment. I mean, after test printing. She has a nostril. All right, very nice, very nice. There we are, she's done. Next step, transferring for the key blocks, for the first color block. Okay, oh, 9:15 show and tell. Okay, before we go to show and tell, just a sec, one thing, I've got to talk about this. Just so you know what's going on. There was a big decision to make about the color blocks. You've seen the picture itself. It has 4 layers of blue. There's a rich, deepest one. You can see the way it scales back. The water here has different layers of blue in here. And there's 2 radically different ways to carve these color blocks. Because there's 4 different blues, I could carve 1 block for the lightest blue, next block for number 2, next block for number 3, next block for number 4. Okay. But another way to do it is to do all of them on block number 1, and then carve another block for 2, 3, 4, another block for 3, 4, and another block for 4. So you have layered up to get your depth instead of just mixing it in the bowl. That means you've got to carve everything twice. In some cases 4 times. The block for number 4 would then have to be carved 4 times. What we're going to do is this. I'm going to carve all the blue that you see on 1 base color block. And that will give me all the lines, all the detail. It'll show where everything is. And I will then transfer this to block 2, block 3, and block 4. So everything is going to be cut twice, but only twice. It doesn't need to be cut 4 times for block 4, 3 times for block 3. That's my decision. I'm going to do it that way, and I'm going to stick with it. And we can see there's no gradients on the blue. The gradients that you see, well, there aren't. The only gradients are on the surfboard. There are no gradients in the blue at all. They are manufactured gradients by having darker tones mixed with lighter tones. We'll talk about it later. I got to get on show and tell right now. When we're carving, we'll talk about some of the details. It turns out that under magnification, you can see places where they made a mistake in carving, and you can see what's underneath it. So we were able to tell how they actually did this. Show and tell, and let me do that. Can you let me run upstairs to get that print. Otherwise, it's never, ever going to end. 60 seconds. I'll be back upstairs. Back in 1 second. We're going for this print. Give me 60 seconds. It's tools. This thing you're hearing, this buzzing, I can't hear it indoors at all, but outside, it's inside the construction across the street. Bzzz, and then bzzz, bzzz. It's some kind of tool the guy is using out there inside the building across the street. This has got to be what you guys have been talking about. I can't hear it here, but I could hear it outside. Someone says, not the tools. It sounds like bees. Bzzz. Whatever. Bees with tools. Okay, quick 10-second recap. A print I made in the year 2000, a reproduction of a Hokkei original. We have two other prints that I love to show people side by side by side by side by side. The fresh, clean, brand new one, obviously it's not an old print. We have here on very old paper. It's got marks from being in somebody's collection. It's got a dealer mark. One of those London dealers wrote his name on it. They used to do that. Toned, old paper. This is brand new, this is old. We have another one here. Wormholes. The, what do you call it? The metal pigments. I keep using the word oxidized. I don't know if that's the correct chemical term. People tell me it's not the chemical term. The pigments have reacted with the air. So we have three prints. I know, but as we were saying the other day, actually, I made two of these. I made two of them. I made the new one, of course, and with my blocks, which are as near as can humanly be compared, identical. I think the carving is actually pretty close. And this is before I got my microscope. This was carving just with myself and my lens. And this is, I think, about as close as is humanly possible to get in this carving. This is the original, and this was my carving. And then this one is Dave's blocks printed on Edo-era paper. I scored a batch of old paper. Actually, I probably told this before. It's not a pleasant story. I was in one of the Jimbocho stores downtown, browsing, and over at the counter I can hear chop, 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 chop. There's some cutting and slicing and whatever going on. I get closer to the counter and I can see that the girl there, she's cutting the strings on old books from the Edo period. She's separating them because they're going to sell them in the shop one page at a time. The number of people walking around Tokyo who are going to buy an old Edo-era book for $1,000 is almost non-existent. The number of people who will buy one single sheet, 1735 original Edo-era woodblock print for $200, and there's 50 pages in the book, there's lots of people that will do that. We turn down the outside audio, but the door's open anyway. So she cuts up books, but each book has a frontispiece and a back piece, and there's also folded inside some of the sheets. The old bookbinders put extra paper inside them so that you don't get the read-through from side to side. So she's cutting the strings, opening it up, putting the prints for sale, and she's got these extra sheets of paper, and she's just tossing them into her garbage can right beside her. Paper, Edo-era paper, unprinted from 1720, 1740, 1760, you name it. And she's just doing this. And I, whatever, you know the rest of the story. I said, like, you're just going to throw that away? She says, yeah, whatever. She knew I'm a regular customer for her. She knows me. Yeah, Dave, sure. Do you want some? And I'm like, I think I can find a use for that. And I don't remember the rest of the conversation. Maybe she said, are you going to print it? No, I would have said, I'm going to use it to repair old prints or something. That's what we would have done. The dealers down there do this. They chop up prints. They chop up books. We here at Mokuhankan, we won't even sell book pages. Even if it came out of an old collection, somebody chopped the book up years ago, we will not sell single book pages under any circumstances whatsoever, period. Period. And this is an over my dead body situation. We have lots of single prints in the shop that came from sets that were broken. You know, somebody bought a set of 20 prints and they've been dispersed over the years. Sure, no problem there. But we will not sell book pages, period. I hear styrofoam packaging. It must be fish, is it? Okay, this one is fun. This one is really, really fun. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it well enough to get the story here. This is a reproduction of a Hiroshige fan print. Hiroshige is world famous as globally famous artist. He had to make a living. He took whatever work came along. And if a local publisher said, hey, we need some designs for the fans for this summer's festival, he would have said, sure, how much? And away he goes. The V&A Museum in London, the Victorian Albert in London has a collection of Hiroshige fan prints like this, and they publish books about them, and I stole this design from one of their books. And the thing is, we know the day and time when Hiroshige drew this picture originally. A bunch of his diaries got left to us, and I don't have them here. I mean, what I mean is the researchers have his diaries. They're in museums all over the place. And he kept quite a lot of diaries. Did this today, did this the next day, did this the next day. And in one of his diaries, he was making a trip over to a place called Kisarazu. It's in the Boso Peninsula. If you go down Tokyo Bay, it's on the right-hand side when you look at a normal map of Tokyo. He and a bunch of friends were going to Kisarazu for sketching, visiting, travel, watching Momiji or something. We don't know. They got on their boat at the Kanda River up near Sensoji. And at the point when they got to Eitaibashi, they had to park. The wind had died down completely. They couldn't continue because there was no wind. All they could do was wait for the wind to pick up. And he said they stayed there all night long, just inside Eitaibashi, in this monsoon rain with no wind. And he said in the distance, we could see the snow on the hills of Kisarazu over on the other side of Tokyo Bay. Now these days you can't because there's islands and stuff in the way now in Tokyo Bay. But in his day, there was a clear view from Eitaibashi over to the other side of Tokyo Bay where you can see, oh, it's not going to zoom in close enough, where you can see the snowy mountains, hills, mountains on the other side of Tokyo Bay. And he's got this episode in his diary, and then we've also got this woodblock fan print of exactly the same thing, stuck by Eitaibashi, and this is Eitaibashi, it's even labeled as Eitai Bridge, Eitaibashi. And we can see the monsoon rain, and we can see the snowy peaks in the distance. Now I don't remember the date, it was November the 17th of 1831 or something. I don't remember it here, but it is known to researchers. So here we have it, a picture from the Edo era. We know the time and date that this photograph was taken. And I guess it tells me, he was just drawing what he saw. And these, I don't know if all three boats were there at the same time, but this must be what he saw that day. It's as good as having a photograph. You tell me, what's the guy transporting? I don't know. They've all got their raincoats on. This is a fishing net. This guy is actually fishing, and this must be sort of a fish basket to keep the fish. This is obviously not fishing, he's transporting. And this is a cargo inside. So he's mixed the three things. I doubt all three were visible right in front of him at the same moment. He's transporting raincoats. Good one, good one. The thing about Eitaibashi is there must have been huge trouble when it was built. And we've heard this story recently. What was the deal? I don't know. Jeff Bezos got a new yacht built, but it was too low to go under the bridge, so he's like saying, will you guys move the bridge? When they built Eitaibashi, it blocked the river, the Sumida River and the Kanda River, from all the coastal vessels. What you're seeing outside Eitaibashi here, these are coastal steamers. They're coastal trading ships that would go to Osaka and back. And they are too tall to go up. So once the bridge was built, a new commerce thing happened, and these guys came into their own. They unloaded outside Eitaibashi. They would take the goods up to the Kanda River, Nihonbashi, where the commercial region was. So the decision to put this bridge in, these guys must have been, no way! And everybody else, that's the way it goes. In 18, whatever year it was built. Human beings, things never change. This is a glorious print. I had so much fun making it. Absolutely so much fun making it. The different levels of gray. Look at the different colors on top. These are all overlaid, of course. I so much enjoyed making this one. It's in our catalog now. The blocks that I carved are still being used, and we're putting it in our catalog. And people see it and they maybe think it's misregistration. Dave, you didn't cut the sky block right. No, I didn't. I cut it exactly what I wanted. We can see the snowy mountains in the distance. Yeah, Eitaibashi is the block. Yes, it's still the block. That's the big, that's the barrier. Although now there's other bridges that are even lower than Eitaibashi all the way up. But it's still the one. Outside this, boats of any size can come and go. But Eitaibashi is, here you go, this is the river, no coastal ships from here on in. Anyway, there's the story. Okay. I now have two things to do. I got to grab a quick cup of coffee, and I'm the shop guy today. So I will be here. I'm putting the lights on, put the flag out. I'm the shop guy today, and then Tuesday we're closed. If any of you are in Tokyo and are thinking about coming over, the shop is back to previous hours. We are closed Tuesdays. We are open 6 days a week, 10 till 5:30, but we are closed Tuesdays. And the current plan is that I'm the guy on the hot seat, but I will not be here every day, of course, always from now on. I think I've talked way too much today. Sorry, no idea. Anyway, I am ready for a cup of coffee. thank you very, very much for the cooperation and the companionship and the hanging around here. See you next time, guys. Thank you very much. Oof. Noise, noise, noise. Bye for now.